Okay, and we're live. We're live. Let's play our music first. All right, welcome to the late night show, Mr. Zwelo.
Thanks, Mr. Lucia.
So I like the topic for tonight. It's a bit spicy because there are a lot of things that are happening. There are lots of COVID millionaires and MECs and spokespersons in trouble. So maybe you'll help us with the topic, right? The topic for tonight is talking tender stigma with Zwelo. And we must just start you off with the question, right? No introductions, not a lecture, it's not a speech. Zwelo, what is a tender and why is it important if it is?
It's a form of an invitation for a project. It could be an invitation by a government institution or entity or a private institution or financial institution to a project of a particular magnitude to say we're inviting bids for people to respond to a particular project we want to do. And out of that, there are specific things that ought to be met or requirements, set of requirements, which would be found on the bid documents and so on and so on. Basically, it's an invitation for capable bidders to do specific business with a particular institution, be it government or private institutions. But as you would know, the term tender, it's often used with government. I know, for instance, in the private sector, they will call request for opportunities, whatever. There's a different way of calling it, but at the end of the day, familiarly is what we call a tenders. But it's any invitation for one to bid for opportunities for particular work that must be done, it is a tender.
Okay, but so why is it important? Can we live without them? Do other countries live without them? Is it a norm everywhere else? Can you live without them?
It's a worldwide norm. It's just that the word tender may very well be associated in the South African context with government and so on and this and that and so on. But necessarily, that's why I'm saying there's different terms for it in different countries. Others is called opportunities. Others is called tenders. Others is called projects, and so on and so on. So there's a plethora of names that are used to what it means. But everywhere else, it is those opportunities. Those opportunities are there. It's just a matter of the name and so
on. Okay, all right. Now we have always thought tenders is things of the ANC.
No,
for comrades only. So maybe let me ask you the second question, and we'll make a discussion from that one. So, in your opinion, whatever, what is corruption, and are we exaggerating it as South Africans? Are we hysterical, or we're actually underestimating it? But then maybe let's start with the first part. What is corruption?
It's undue benefit. It's undue benefit. It's getting what you were not supposed to get, or you're getting something in an unscrupulous manner. For an example, I'm supposed to take a driver's license.
Sure.
The driver's license, I go on the 1st of August. They tell me I can only be booked to enter only on the 1st of September.
Sure.
And then I speak to the officials there, or those officials offer me an opportunity to say, no, but you can enter on the 5th of August if you pay 200 rand. That is corruption. There's a corruptor and a corruption. It is between me and those officials. And then the second corruption in that process is that I go there, they say, no, we want to make sure that you pass that test of a driver's license. But you would be required to pay us 1,000 rand. That on its own is corruption. You see, because the problem in this country, we're of the firm view that corruption is mega millions. When every day you are stopped by a traffic officer for a speed, for this and that, you pay a bribe. That is corruption. Even in social scenes, people bribe to get the best table in clubs, in restaurants. They bribe.
How is that also corruption,
No, it's corrupt. You are not following the system. You are not doing as expected. So
look, maybe I'm guilty. Maybe I must confess. Maybe I'm guilty. So every time I go to a shisanyama, right, where there's a bribe, I usually give my tip to whoever's bribing, but I give him the tip earlier. Is that also corruption?
To get you the best table, right?
No. I'm saying, when you go to Chisanyama,
I know,
they usually buy the meat.
The best table there.
No. Usually buy the meat at the butchery, and there are guys who bribe for you, right?
No, that is human courtesy.
But I'm saying I give him the tip before. So as I give him the meat, same time,
no, it's a motivation maybe to probably have your meat done faster than the rest of the meat.
That one is not corruption, it's motivation.
It's motivation. I mean, it's like a tip in a restaurant. You're tipping a waiter or what have you. But what
are you not tipping? Are you not tipping that? Who do you call that? Official of the...
No. Remember, it's not a tip because in that instance of yours, there's no discussion that look, make it snappy, make my meat to be ahead, or get me the best of in the arrangement. It's a motivation without saying it. You don't have to tell him what is it for. So in this instance, these examples I gave, people are clear that look, bruh, you pay me so much, you get your license. You do this, I get you. You pay traffic fine, I let you go. So that is corruption because there's undue benefit.
Okay, it's quite interesting. Yeah.
And I can tell you, people may not say it, but the most of our South Africans have done a corrupt deed. The most of our South African people have done an act of corruption, literally as it may seem, but they've act corruptly. So
look, usually we have an insert, right, on our show called the Quick Brain Challenge, and I think our highest score is 45 seconds.
Okay.
I know you're my friend, you're quite competitive. So the person with the highest score is Bramike.
Yeah.
Yeah? Bramike has the highest, Mike Mail has the highest score. Is it still Bramike?
Yeah, but
I think it's still him, with the highest score. So you must beat Bramike. I'm going to ask you 10 questions.
10?
Yeah, just 10.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen so that you can see your time. How do I? Yeah. Okay.
I'm able to say pass.
It's up to you, but passing is cheating. It's an either-or thing, man. It's nothing complicated.
All right,
but you can say pass, but people will remember you and judge you for passing. So yeah, in 3, 2, 1, go. iPhone or Android?
iPhone or Android. What? Samsung, what is it?
No, you must pick between an iPhone and an Android.
iPhone.
Horror or comedy?
Comedy.
Wine or cider?
Wine.
AK or Casper?
A Casper.
Health or money?
Money.
Text or call?
Text.
Mbeki or Zuma?
Mbeki.
OR Chris Hani.
Tambo.
Pork or chicken?
Chicken.
ANC or MK?
Mkhonto wesizwe.
Okay. You are the longest. You are the longest.
No, I messed up. I didn't understand what you wanted.
It's fine. I've never explained it to anybody. You are the last. You are the last. With 59.30. You are the last.
Yeah.
You are the last.
I couldn't beat them. Like, no, I missed 20 seconds in the first instance. I could have done 41 actually.
You wanted to argue.
Yeah, but well, yeah, that's interesting.
I'm a comrade like debating. Okay. Maybe let's go back to the same question, right? So, do you think South Africans exaggerate the extent of corruption or they underestimate it?
No. I think South Africans don't exaggerate. There is a great deal of corrupt allegations and stories in the face of South Africans, and you cannot therefore say no, they are being hyperbole about it and so on. But I think, but what I think is a problem is that South Africans they have a tendency to attach corruption to value for it. That is why I gave an instance of saying corruption can be worth 200 rand, 100 rand, 50 rand. That is corrupt. But for us to say the tier is serious, he must have looted 1 million or millions. But if the tier is alleged to have looted 2,000 or 500, he has bribed some traffic cop, we may not even view it as corruption, but we view it as that, man, they are just after the tea, man, and this and that. So I'm saying, and you see, the problem in South Africa is that corruption, the word corruption is attached to politics or government and so on. And for instance, even the media aids to that, because you would remember when it's a private sector, they call it collusion and so on instead of corruption.
Okay.
They don't call it tender. They don't call it corruption. They call it collusion. But whereas when it happens in government, it's called corruption, this and that, and all that. So I'm saying the media also assists in the psyche of South Africans to have a perspective on what it means, this thing of corruption. But in my view, there's I see there's a question here.
So I'm saying. Yeah, so I'm saying, as you are saying, the media gives it a certain perspective. Do you think it's attached to race? Do you think corruption is only for black people and white people? It's collusion?
Yeah, everything in South Africa is racial.
Okay.
Everything. Yeah, everything. You would remember, even for instance, there was a rape case. That fellow who raped a child at Ross restaurant in Pretoria, if I'm not mistaken, he was forever referred to as the Ross rapist, because he was a white fellow. Had it been Zwelo Masle, I was going to say Zwelo. What was never going to be referred to as a Ross rapist. So even if you remember the case of Oscar Pistorius, and you could attach it to any other murder case, gender-based violence case, you could see the type of reporting. The media was not as negative as it were with the Oscar case in the instance of gender-based violence. So I'm saying, just giving those simple examples to say, the media and that is why I'm saying race is everywhere, even in corruption. The Steinhoff saga is an example. You see, I'm even calling it myself a saga, because that's what the media says. Saga. It doesn't say
you are whitewashing it, bro.
Yeah, it's billions, but some fellow there who apparently has looted 2.6 million. It will be all over the news. Looted.
But maybe these people who loot, man. Or maybe look, there's a proximity issue, right? You grew up with this fellow. This fellow, you are better than him, or you thought you were better than him in class or whatever, because you could run faster, or you got better girls, or you got higher grades. Now the same fella you thought you were better than comes, drives proper things in China. Now his life is in order. And maybe you need some sort of excuse or justification as to why you are behind. Say, these ones are corrupt. Don't we sometimes abuse corruption to justify our own positions in society? Say, these ones, don't look at them like that. They are corrupt.
No, I can tell you, if there are two things they will say, Ekasi or anywhere else. If you are not corrupt, you are Tagata or Chubama parts.
Sure.
Sure. I would know, Dala, if you had money, you are doing some funny rituals to Chubama party, to do this and that, to kill people. Actually, you as attached to wrong things to having money. Also I blame the fact that we grew up in poor neighborhoods. You see, money was a rare thing. People who had money had to be attached to. Look, even now in modern times, let me tell you, for instance, even some serious people who went to university and graduated, they come out and attach people like Jay-Z, Beyonce to Satanism because of the type of work.
Illuminati.
Illuminati, they are what? It's not possible to have such wealth. I mean, it's all those stupid things that make people to perceive people, especially, for example, every one of us in the ANC, particularly we comrades, suffer a lot. See, you buy your own car, then some corner, it's corrupt. You buy some house of yours, it's corrupt. Whereas you are a professional, you went to school, you yourself, for instance, you're an engineer, you do your own things there. Even in private sector, people will always accuse you. I was the other day, just yesterday, I was saying to a comrade, look, at age 40, or I wrote on Facebook yesterday that at age 40, I will be actually retiring from active politics, go stay in the village there, look after cattle and that. And then I was like, no, but what if they offer you to be MEC or minister? I said, no, I'm not a politician. You know why? Part of the things I hate being a politician or taking public office is the unnecessary scrutiny. Unnecessary scrutiny. You see, I like fine things in life. I like the best for myself and my family. And you can't enjoy those sort of things if you're a politician.
You can't even take pictures now, sir.
You
if I take a picture with you and you get a tender, but there's a link.
Imagine I'm some rural mayor. I want to take my kids to Disney. Some investigation will follow me on how I got to. I want to buy a Ferrari at some point. Some investigation will follow me on how I bought that Ferrari as a mayor. And I'm saying, obviously, as a mayor, I would not afford it with the salary of being a mayor, such a car.
Sure.
Hence, one has to engage in other legal means of getting such money, you see, so that also you don't have to encounter the burden of explaining yourself to society because you are not anywhere attached to their public purse. You see, they may accuse you there because of your membership to the ANC, but hell no, you are not a public servant. You are not at their payroll or some public servant. You may very well be engaged in public funds through tenders, which is well and good. But as long as you do them legal, why should you be explaining to society about how you spend your wealth and so on? That is my problem about some of the things that I feel are why I would never take up public office, because that perception is still really there, and I think it will take a long time to stop it from the back of people.
Okay. The next insert of our show is usually what we call the awkward question. We must warn you. These questions are never easy. They are quite hard. Many have collapsed. Many have failed. Many have cried and laughed. And they're never easy. We must warn you, they're never easy. You're not forced to answer. We must make it obvious and clear to you. You're not forced to answer, Zwelo. You can skip it. You can chicken out. But we'll always remember that out of all our guests, Zwelo is the first one to chicken out. They all suffer, they all cry, but they answer. So, our awkward question for tonight is, Zwelo, how often do you masturbate?
Ban. No, man, what is this? What is Ah, brother. Yeah. We're bad. But really, how do I gauge? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I wouldn't know.
No, you can give us a number. I'm trying to once a month, once a week.
It's not too often. It's a very rare thing to happen. So I wouldn't really know. Probably annually. I don't know.
Annually.
I don't know. It's not
I got you good with that one.
You know, when I'm thinking some seriously. And that was really awkward.
Okay, we'll take the annual answer. We'll take annual.
Yeah.
That's the recorded answer. That's the answer, Mr. Masilela. The annual answer.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
No, it's fine. The
It's
annual,
fine.
we'll live with it.
We'll live with it. Let's go back to the serious questions now. So, how do you think the stigma of tenders comes about, and how do you suggest we approach the stigma?
Look, I believe that globally we have the best systems in terms of rationale to appoint tenders, right? Never be told that our systems to process tenders are very good. The problem in South Africa is human error or human factor, not human error, but the human phenomenon.
Okay.
It is human beings who collapse systems. In our case, I would say the current systems, they must be as transparent as possible.
Okay.
And that's the first thing. Make everyone have confidence in the system. That, okay, if the tier is appointed, fail, is not appointed because of association and so on. That let it be a societal belief or attitude towards people who receive it. And of course, people who receive it, that being business people, must honorably do the work according to the standard they would have agreed to in the tender and so on and so forth. Deliver on the projects, complete projects, and use quality material as required and what have you, like meet the standards set in the tender. And beyond that, I don't think there's anything we could suggest as an end product on what people do post receiving it legally, post completion of work. If one decides to buy a car, if one decides to go for holiday with the money, the other decides to buy a house, is their own with the profits and so on. One other aspect I wanted to touch, that is my belief, separate from what is linked to this. I'm one person who believes that this thing of tenders ought to have a ceiling.
Okay.
A ceiling in a sense of saying, here's the tier construction projects is a company. We build this company from grade 1 to grade 9, for instance, GP or civil. The state or government must have a deliberate program of saying, once we give you, I want to build you, I want to groom you as a company to be this big. But what we want to do with you, because we want to create black industrialists and so on and so forth. Because at the center of tenders is transformation of rolling back the frontiers of poverty that had confronted the black majority. Now, at the center of my argument of why I'm saying there must be a ceiling. For instance, people who started this thing of tendering long ago, people like your Robert Kumete, your Patrice Mutsipe, all the black moguls, your Toko Zikwales and all these people. They should no longer be tendering, but we should be, if I'm in financial services, I'm tendering. That, for instance, municipality, I want to give an example, a simple thing. insurance of municipalities. The brokers, for instance, are white people, white companies. I have an insurance company, blah, blah, blah. My broker is going to be a white company. Why are we not into having people deliberately create to be in the financial institutions? For an example, again, another sector, we're in construction, you would know that there's no black person who manufactures cement, steel, and all these other things. Why don't we say one company must deliberately invest through tenders to build a steel manufacturing plant, a cement plant, and so on and so on. And then when the next set of tenders are given out to the young entrepreneurs from grade 1 and lower grades, we say to you deliberately, as part of the commitment to the appointment to the tender, go and buy a Litiya Steel Engineering, which also was empowered by this government. That's how we are going to create a serious, massive conglomerate of black industrialists and capitalists through tenders. Not this thing of saying people accumulate tender from 1994 till today are still doing the same thing. They have not shown us what have they done with these monies that they got from tender. And say, no, because I was a contractor from 1996 or 1998, I have now a batch plant that does this and so on and so on.
I'm now playing in the private sector space, for example.
Yes, and tap into all that. But because government can do it, because amongst other things, these tenders have for example, there's 30% set aside for youth and so on in community, right? It could be included. It can be. Government has the capacity to enforce part of where this material could be bought. Remember, when the BOQ or bill of quantity is made, government already knows the prices in the market and can tell you where to buy. Actually, in some contracts, they even instruct you where you can buy some of the material. And I'm saying government has a responsibility to instruct entrepreneurs on where to buy some of these products. Because as where we're sitting now, black people get tenders, but they end up sending them back to white people to do the work, because our people are not in the industries that produce part of the things that are required. They may not have BE, they don't care, they know you come back to them. Be it
they have the capacity.
They have the capacity, they even determine price and which enforces. That is why people will argue that people of tenders are selling things expensively. I mean, who furniture, every government institution, every municipality buys furniture, right? And it's supplied by black people. Tell me of one manufacturing plant of a black person that manufactures furniture, office furniture. One.
So maybe essentially tenders means was just sophisticated labor brokers in a sense.
Yes, they're middle ground, and government has accepted that and does not want to put that emphasis to say no. It can't be beyond that. You just put in a quotation, put up a markup, and that's it. You deliver.
That's it.
It must be. It must be. We can deliberately do that to build you, but must give you an instruction that with those profits, don't go around playing. Yes, those profits, invest in industrializing your sector, be it finance, be it whatever you are dealing with. You see, and stop this thing of being a caterer, being everything. For example, you can't be a caterer, a contractor, an engineer, and everything like that. You must choose a struggle and pursue it, and government must support you in that. And then you'll be able to. That's my view. Yeah.
As we close, I just have one comment I see there. Yes, but what are your views about accusations? So when someone is accused of being corrupt, what ought to happen next?
Who is that person? Depends who is that person and what is the accusation and what is the extent of the evidence. Eh? Hello? Ebren? I can't hear you. Hello? I think the network here is better. Litiya? Hello?
You lost me a bit there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're back.
Are we back?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Are they saying what's the norm? Everybody who's accused of corruption must they resign?
The question is, I'm asking who's accused and where, and what is the...
Politicians, an MEC, a spokesperson of the president, a mayor.
This is my take. It depends on the heftiness of the matter, or the dynamics of the matter, as it were. Because I wouldn't say let's have a blanket approach, right? But the only blanket approach I would accept is for people. If there's any, let's say you are the MEC, for example, né? And there's an allegation that you stole money in your department or somehow benefited, I think you must request to have the investigation done, and once the investigation is done in your office and the conduct of the office, you step. But I wouldn't want a situation whereby there's no investigation, there's nothing. It's just people saying, yeah, so and so is doing this, so and so is corrupt, and then with no action, there's no. I mean, people can't just say you are corrupt, and then out of that you step aside. But if there is an investigation that needs to take place, then you need to step aside and allow that investigation to take place.
Okay, I hear you. Interesting views. I keep on losing you. I don't know why. My network at the end is keep on misbehaving.
Hello?
Maybe these people don't want us to talk about them. Maybe it's a sign. Can you hear me now? My network is misbehaving. Yes, sir. I can hear you quite well, actually. You can't hear me. Okay. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe it's a sign. Yeah, man. Am I back? Sure. Can you hear me now? Let me do this. Am I better? You have lost me. Okay. It's fine. Maybe let me close it and say, Zwelo,
hello?
It was good. I hope you can hear us. I can hear you. And yeah, man. That was Zwelo for you. We spoke about corruption and things. And let me mute you, actually, so I can close the show. Yeah, man. It was good. It was nice. And yeah, that's it.